The nation bids farewell to Tabla Maestro Zakir Hussain. Hussain was battling heart-related concerns and took his last breath at an American hospital this morning at the age of 73. Born in then Bombay as the eldest son of the legendary Tabla virtuoso Allah Rakha, Zakir Hussain followed in his father's footsteps but also emerged out of that shadow to become a global icon in the world of classical music. Over the course of his illustrious 6-decade-long career, Zakir Hussain received numerous prestigious awards, including 5 Grammy Awards. In fact, out of those 5, 3 he won on a single night recently at the 66th Annual Grammy Awards in 2024. One of the defining contributions was the 1973 fusion project with John McLaughlin, Shankar and T.H. Vinayakram, blending Indian classical with jazz. Hussain also received India's highest civilian honours, the Padma Shri in 1988, Padma Bhushan in 2002 and Padma Vibhushan in 2023, in many ways cementing his legacy as not only a household name but one of nation's most celebrated classical musicians and tabla players. Here's all that people have to say from the fraternity and more about Zakir Hussain. But also joining me right now from Mumbai. Today, it was Bombay when Zakir Hussain was born in 1951. Sana, I know that many were praying that this news was not true, that he would recover, but we have the confirmation now. What are the reactions that you're picking up from the music fraternity, Sana?
And I think as the whole nation, everyone is heartbroken by the news. Shabana Azmi, Rahul Lakia, Nandita Das, Dia Mirza, they've all paid their condolences to Zakir Hussain's family. And as Shabana Azmi rightly mentioned, it's not just a loss for India or the film industry, it's a loss for the whole world. Of course, Rahul Dhalwakia, the director, he's worked with Zakir Hussain for Parzania. He's posted a social media post, a long note on how his death has been such a huge loss. It's such a huge loss for the music fraternity. Absolutely, the industry is shaken and shocked, and it happened all of a sudden, and hence I think the pain is much more right now.
And clearly one can say definitely did not look his age at 73, and perhaps that's what passion for art and hard work does to one. Sana, stay on with me. Zakir Hussain and tabla were synonymous. If you were beating with the rhythms on a table trying to play the tabla, the compliment was, are you the next Zakir Hussain? Let's take a look back at the rhythms that Zakir Hussain brought to us all these years. And at a time like this, you know, everyone takes a while to really realize that Zakir Hussain is no more, and one can just listen for hours to these beats. In fact, joining me now on the phone line is popular music composer Anu Malik, who's given us so many renditions as much from the films and the music fraternity. Anu Malik, I have this question for you. You know, at 73, Zakir Hussain was winning Grammys. He was still renovating himself. What do you have to say when tabla and Zakir Hussain are known in the same sentence as one?
First of all, it's a very sad day. Very, very anguished to hearing this news. As far as Zakir Bhai is concerned, you know, when you say, you can't separate the two. Tabla is synonymous with the word Zakir Hussain, and Zakir Hussain is synonymous with tabla. Zakir Bhai's tabla inspired me that I started using tabla in my earlier songs which I composed. Because he played the talas, but he brought in his own flair, his own flavor. When he collaborated, he had his own group, Shakti group. When he collaborated with Beatles, to see him on the stage was eclectic. You know, I have always maintained this, that he never played the tabla. He actually singers sang on the tabla. They created a tune. They created you have Chaptal, you have Dadra, you have Ektal, you have Baramatra, and then, you know, you have a great musician in front of you playing a sarod or a flute. Collaborating with Hariprasad Chaurasa Sahab and everybody, the greats of the greats. And then, you know, seeing that the viewer has his eyes on the tabla and his fingers was magic. You could never take your eyes off Zakir Bhai. I hope you understand where I'm coming from when you see his performances. You could just understand that there is this greatness in this man that can't be seen in anybody else. In fact, he was saying that when he was very, very small, when he was born, Ustad Allah Rakha Khan Sahab, his father, used to sing the talas, the tap, you know, in his years, and the music went into his DNA absolutely. And what he's become, and in fact, I always say that legends, heroes are always remembered, but legends never die. And his tabla
Yes.
will go on beyond.
Mr. Malik, tell me about this. Because you worked with him, and there's always a certain public persona with musicians or anyone so popular. How was he when you would interact with him? Did he always keep his calm?
I'll tell you something
Go
about
ahead.
his honest approach towards life. He was a very humble man, a man who just recently won 3 Grammy. I remember I met him at Shankar Mahadevanji's Kadeti festivals, and Shankar Bhai requested me to go on the stage and sing a song. I was singing the song Kali Kali Aankhein, and all of a sudden I spotted him in the crowd standing there listening to me intently. Finished the song, went up to him and said, "Oh my God, you were there listening to this song of mine," and he said, I said, Zakir Bhai, the classical knowledge that he possesses is something beyond that. I bowed to him and he hugged me and said, Anu, I love your melodies, the way you create a melody, and he gave me this ultimate compliment. So I was wondering, after feeling so much, so humble,
Yes.
so grounded, and so loving. I mean, we have so much to learn from the greatness of Zakir Bhai. Now, apart from the awards that he received, apart from the fact that he took music and the musicians of India onto the world map, he was very grounded. And I asked him once, how do you get inspired? And he said, from Mumbai, from Mahim, from where I'm born, he loved this country. In fact, I remember asking him, "Kaun sa gana suna aapne mera?" "Arey, bahut sune hain aapke," he said. "Wo kamal tha, East or West, India is the best." So like I'm crazy after my country, India, and I love it. He used to always say that there's no place like Bharat, there's no place like India.
Anu Malik, both you and Zakir Hussain come from music families and fathers who've passed on that legacy. Both of you also emerged out of that shadow and made such a remarkable name for yourself as well. At this note, and I understand it's a loss, but if I may ask, a musical note that comes to your mind, maybe India is best, like you said, was liked by Zakir Hussain, something that you think we can remember him by.
I know you want me to sing a song, but it's not an apt moment for me to sing a song, but he loved the ragas, he played different tals, he was a master of classical music. I'm a natural musician, but he knew everything about music. The song that I would like to see, he loved rag, and I think the song he would have loved, I believe he heard it, was a song based on Rag Yaman, which is recently won 3 national awards. I'll sing the song because I believe Hamara Atoot Bandhan hai between me and Zakir Bhai and all the musicians who knew him or had interacted with him and have worked with him. I would sing because he loved classical music and he said this is the real music, the essence of India lies in its roots, and that is classical music.
Appreciate you gave that tone to us, Anu Malik. So then, do you think a lot of younger musicians, especially with a blend of classical, fusion, all of that, do you think there's a lot to learn, and we must ensure that this legacy does not end here, that many more get inspired here on?
Absolutely, it will never end. In fact, Zakir Bhai always stressed the fact that, he never liked music that just, you just hear it once and it's gone away. He expects you to learn classical music, and the younger musicians who are very talented are coming up. They will take a leaf out of his career and his achievements and try to go towards classical music, which is the essence of our great country, Bharat.
I appreciate you joining us. Anu Malik, music composer, on meeting, interacting, collaborating with Zakir Hussain. Remember, eventually you're left with memories. Memories not just about someone's talent, but also as much of the kind of person that individual was and the impact that have possibly been left behind. So let's listen in again a few of the tals, the rhythms, the beats that Zakir Hussain has left her with. A brief one, and then we'll go across and listen to an exclusive conversation that Rajdeep Sardesai had with Zakir Hussain recently.
There has been this remarkable evolution or this journey of learning from the young Zakir Hussain who helped create in the late 1970s this fusion band Shakti, which later now, all these years later, wins the best global music album. This evolution of the way you saw fusion music in the late 70s, bringing together Western and Indian musicians together. Tell me about this process of evolution, what it's been like taking Shakti from the 70s to winning a Grammy with them today.
Absolutely. I mean, Shakti was at the forefront of this movement of recognizing music on a global level. When Shakti released our first record, there was no such thing as global music or world music or new age or anything. And so when Shakti came on the stage and the record came out and it was a success and we started touring, people realized that there is, you know, there are avenues beyond their vision and which needed to be explored, and there's music that can be spoken in so many different languages and yet be valid anywhere on the face of the earth. And so in that way Shakti kind of set the tone, and finally this is the redemption of Shakti Group, which finally 50 years down the road wins the Global Music Award and gets recognized for its contribution vis-a-vis you know, breaking down barriers, you know, breaking down fences, and putting the idea of music as a universal statement in the minds of the people all over the world.
But what for you, Zakir Hussain, is really global music or universal music, as you call it? Because it's gone through various avatars over the years. You mentioned Pandit Ravi Shankar. He was a pioneer in the 1960s. You've now taken it to a new level. What, therefore, how do you define global music? Is it just bringing West and Eastern musicians together, or is it much more evolved than that?
Global music is a unified statement of the people of this earth who happen to be speaking the language of music, as opposed to just English or Hindi or Marathi or German or French or so on and so forth. Music is a conversation that happens amongst people, and it happens to be a process or an exercise which transcends all borders and all fences, all religions, all other ways of life, and it's a living process unto itself. And for musicians, that becomes a unified statement, and music can be made in that manner. When Shakti plays, the five of us coming together and performing music, what comes out on the other side is not five different ideas thrown at you simultaneously, but one idea, five people thinking as one and unified in their thought process, totally comfortable in each other's environment, each other's way of life, each other's way of thinking, and expressing their music. And when it comes together, it becomes this one story that is being told, and that to me is global music. It doesn't have to be all Indians. It can be Indians, Americans, Japanese, Chinese, Indonesian, African, South American, whatever, Middle Eastern. They are all coming together and making music. And in this day and age, you find so many varieties of records that have come out with incredible combination of musicians from all over the world interacting with each other, and the music comes out as one statement. So that to me is global. For a record company, for CD companies, the ones who have to sell records, it's of course a name that they want to put on a bin, but for us it's kind of a harking to a future that we believe is in some ways a savior of humanity, because if people all over the world would consider interacting with each other the way the musicians and the artists all over the world interact with each other, we may have a much more peaceful planet in our hands than it appears to be at the moment.
But you know, Zakir Hussain, what is interesting to me in a way is also the Grammy-winning album, This Moment, as it's called, was conceptualized, I'm told, during COVID times. And you bring out these 8 songs by John McLaughlin, yourself, Shankar Mahadevan on vocals, Selva Ganesh, Ganesh Rajagopalan, all 4 of you in different spaces. Did COVID give you all that time, the bandwidth to therefore unleash your collective creative energies?
Yeah, it gave us all the time in the world to be able to really take stock of that which we wanted to put out as a statement from 5 of us. We could take our time, review, chip and chisel and sculpt a piece of music in our own time, do it the best we could get to at that time. That's the great thing about being able to work in a studio environment. Up till that time, we had not made a studio album for the last 45 years. The last 3 albums were all live concert albums. So that kind of thinking and sitting together and analyzing, assimilating, emulating different elements and trying to come up with a piece of music that we could stand behind and say, this is where we are at this time in our life, and this is what we want to say through our music.
A short while ago, I also spoke to Usha Uthup, popular singer, about when she heard about Zakir Hussain's demise. Here's what she had to say.
This is absolutely devastating news, and I got this news actually from my daughter. She sent me one of the Instagram posts, and I mean, it's something one just can't, as you yourself said, about the beats. I mean, that's the heartbeat of, I would say, of the world, in fact, not just in India. I mean, such a fantastic, besides music, I mean, besides it being a great musician, what a fantastic gentleman he was, and always so kind, my God. He was a beautiful human being with a most beautiful soul. One can't think of the instrument itself without him. I mean, when I say he was a kind human being, whenever, I mean, I met him plenty of times, but whenever I met him, he never failed to compliment other people, And I think that comes from a very, very kind soul and a very kind heart.